In this video I'm going to go through question number 2 on this paper 4. This paper 4 is from 2011, it's GCSE Mathematics Higher, and I'll work through this question 2, not only giving you how to do the question but also the marks awarded for that particular question. Should you like your own copy of this paper 4 and also paper 3 from 2011, along with the DVDs where I work through every question in detail on all the papers, along with the marks awarded, if you go to either mathstutor.biz or mathsdvds.co.uk, you can get full details. GCSE Higher from 2011, paper 4, question 2. On the grid with the scales as shown, in other words the scales on the axes are different, so watch out, keep that in mind. Draw this graph. Now you can draw this graph one of two ways. You could make a table of values up by giving x any value you like. So let's give x the value of 0 and 1 and 2 and 3, and that's more than enough, and then work out the value of y. So y is 2 nothings minus 4, y is 2 1s, which is 2, and then minus the 4. Y is x is 2 2s, take away 4, and x is 3, so that's 2 3s are 6, take away 4, which is 2, and then plot these points, 0 minus 4, taking care on the scale, 1 minus 2, 2 0, 3 2. Now when you do an exam question, there is going to be more than one way of doing it. The examiner does not mind how you do the question. Preferably that it is a mathematical method, preferably that you show you're working out, and preferably that you get it right. Another thing, whenever you draw a graph, always label it. And that's perfectly correct, you'll get the full marks, it's worth 3 marks. So get it completely right, you get the 3 marks. Don't get it completely right, but show some sort of working out or whatever, you'll get 1 or 2 marks. Now before we leave this question, when you do practice papers or past exam papers, you're preparing for an exam. So the idea is to revise as much as you can. So let's look at the other way of doing this. This could be considered as y equals mx plus c. This is called the general equation of a straight line, where m is the gradient and c is where the graph cuts through the y-axis. So without doing a table, I should put cuts y-axis, which is minus 4. That's what I meant there. So instead of doing a table, you could just say, right, it goes through there, because where it cuts y out, and then has a gradient of 2, but that's where you have to be really careful. If you look at these squares and you go 2 1, that's a gradient of 2, or is it? Well, it's only a gradient of 2 if this scale is exactly the same as this scale. If that's going 2 and that's going 2 4, or that's going 5 and that's going 5 10, or that's going 1 and that's going 1 2, that is a gradient of 2 if the scales are the same, but the scales aren't. So in fact the gradient is 2, because that represents 2, over 1. The gradient m is 2 over 1. 2 on the y, 1 on the x. Taken a long time over that question, but I think that's the whole point of doing these practice papers and past papers, is to revise as much as you can to prepare yourself for the exam.